The U.S. Constitution is the supreme law, outlining the federal government's organization, powers, responsibilities, and limitations. It has 7 articles and 27 amendments, including the Bill of Rights. The Constitution divides powers among 3 branches: legislative, executive, and judicial. Congress makes laws, the president enforces them, and the courts interpret them. It ensures a system of checks and balances and protects individual rights. The U.S. government is divided into 3 branches: legislative, executive, and judicial. Congress makes laws, the president enforces them, and the courts interpret them. Bills are debated and voted on by the Senate and House of Representatives, then sent to the president for signature. The president can veto a bill, but it can become law with a 2/3 vote from both houses. The president appoints members to the executive branch, regulatory commissions, ambassadors, and federal judges with Senate approval. The courts enforce and interpret the law, including cases without legal precedent. The Bill of Rights are the first 10 amendments to the U.S. Constitution, protecting individual rights by limiting government power. Amendments 13 to 15 were added after the Civil War. Amendment 1 guarantees freedom of speech, press, religion, assembly, and petition. Amendment 2 allows the right to bear arms and form a militia. Amendment 3 protects against quartering of troops. Amendment 4 prohibits unreasonable searches and seizures. Amendment 5 protects due process, prohibits self-incrimination and double jeopardy, and requires just compensation for taking private property. Amendment 6 provides rights for the accused. Amendment 7 grants the right to a civil trial by jury. Amendment 8 prohibits excessive bail and cruel punishment. Amendment 9 protects rights not listed in the Bill of Rights. Amendment 10 outlines powers of states and people. Amendment 13 abolishes slavery. Amendment 14 provides for civil rights. Amendment 15 grants the right to vote to African Americans and former slaves. Real estate professionals should be aware of how some amendments to the U.S. Constitution impact property rights. These amendments include due process. Amendments 5 and 14 guarantee fair hearings before an impartial judge, which would be essential for agents accused of misconduct. Equal protection. Amendment 14 prohibits discrimination by government through laws that unfairly treat certain groups of people. Just compensation. Amendment 5 requires just compensation for private property taken by the government for public use. No unreasonable searches or seizures. Amendment 4 requires a warrant for a search only if there is probable cause for such a search. Defense against government actions. Certain amendments protect freedom of speech and assembly, but private property owners still have the right to restrict these activities on their property unless local laws say otherwise. Congress's power to make laws is a fundamental aspect of our democracy. From taxes to defense, it's essential to our government's operation. The Constitution grants Congress this power, both explicitly and implicitly, giving it the authority to make laws that are necessary and proper for carrying out its duties. While some areas, such as commerce and the military, are under the exclusive jurisdiction of the federal government, in other areas, both the federal and state governments can create laws. In real estate, this is often seen in fair housing/discrimination and environmental laws. However, if state and federal laws conflict, federal law takes precedence. It's essential to understand this balance of power to ensure that the laws and regulations that impact our daily lives are just and fair. As real estate professionals, it's especially important to be aware of the laws in our industry and to advocate for their just enforcement.